Sammy Gyamfi, how have you appreciated what has been going on so far?
What we are currently experiencing is a classical case of predatory governance.
The minister says,
this is not Boame Namembwao. This is predatory governance, where the government we have elected to protect us and to turn our fortunes around has turned around to prey on us by expropriating our hard-earned monies, the lifetime savings of Ghanaians, monies that are meant for the health needs or the rent needs or educational needs of citizens of this country. That is rude, that is wickedness, and that is unacceptable. You see, our brother Senor is getting something wrong, and that is where I want to start my submission from. He would have been right if the finance minister and the Akufo-Addo Bawumia government were saying that you are free not to sign onto the DDEP, their so-called debt exchange program, which in my view is an indirect expropriation program and not a debt exchange program. He would have been right if that is what government is saying. But in the second amended and restated exchange memorandum, Samson, government is saying that yes, you are free to sign or not to sign. But if your bonds mature before I conclude this process, I'm not going to pay you. Hasn't Senor seen those provisions in the second amended and restated agreement?
Right. Yeah.
And if I can read those relevant provisions, it reads that eligible holders holding eligible bonds maturing on or prior to the settlement date. The settlement date is when government will be concluding these whole processes, and I will define what they mean by settlement date. Okay, they are saying will not receive a final interest payment except for accrued interest payable for tendering holders as described below, and a final principal payment regardless of whether an eligible holder has tendered or not on such maturing eligible bonds. So they are saying that if your bonds mature before the settlement date, they are not going to pay you what you are entitled to. So this is not voluntary, as Senor would have us believe. If you look at the definition of settlement dates in the second amended and restated memorandum, it says that settlement date means 14 February 2023 or such date as the Republic shall designate. So there is no certainty with regards to that settlement date. That's number one. And number two, government is not telling these bondholders when it even intends to pay them, okay, their monies. Because as a standard, government is saying we won't pay. On the 6th of February this year, there were some bondholders whose maturities, coupons matured, and government had to pay. Till date, government hasn't paid them. And they have not been told when government will pay them. So the picture our brother Senor is surprisingly painting this morning, for me, is not accurate at all. You see, Samson, you have a situation where pensioners who have worked so hard for this country, who are supposed to enjoy the fruit of their labor on retirement, enjoy a restful and peaceful retirement, are picketing in the scorching sun at the precincts of the Ministry of Finance. The President of the Republic has not made any statement about this. The Vice President and Chairman of the Economic Management, Bawumia, is dead silent on the matter. And the Ministry of Finance is telling them that you can go to hell. My word is final. There is nothing I will do about your concerns. That is unacceptable, and that should not be justified. You see, people think that this so-called debt exchange program is the panacea to our economic goals. I disagree. It is not the panacea to our economic goals. And if we do not address the issues that have brought the country on its knees, it doesn't matter how many times we do debt exchange. we will return into this same ditch.
Senior and his group and the others, they've done the maths, and they've shown that there is more that we can do than pursuing
exactly
this, or even pursuing the individual bondholders.
Exactly.
Right.
Because you see, we shouldn't have gotten here in the first place if we had done the right things. Something we are talking about a government that is the most resourced government in the history of this country, the luckiest government. They've had unprecedented oil revenue, unprecedented tax revenue, unprecedented borrowed funds. And what do they have to show for? A destroyed economy with interest rates hovering around 45%, debt to GDP over 100%, and a draconian debt exchange program that seeks to expropriate the investments of people. And that is because of the reckless borrowing and expenditures they have engaged in the last 6 years. That is the fundamental root cause of the problem we have on our hands. And until that is addressed, what we are engaging is like fetching water with a basket. These people are only looking for 3 billion. That is why they are doing this debt exchange program. 3 billion. COVID alone gave them $6 billion. $6 billion. The IMF gave us a $1 billion rapid credit facility in 2020 and another $1 billion special drawing rights facility in 2021. They have wasted all that. The World Bank has given us over $1.3 billion. Check how much the European Union, the African Development Bank have given us. The problem is not money. The problem has to do with the government's unbridled penchant for profligacy, misplaced priorities. How can you be asking pensioners, individual bondholders, to accept austerity measures like haircuts on their coupons and all that? At a time you are funding a $450 million so-called National Cathedral project. You've taken taxpayers' money, 133 million Ghana cedis, and you've given it to David Ajayi and his people just to draw a cathedral building and supervise its construction. After spending... So
Justice Sophia Kufu spoke about how the government is not showing that it is doing anything to deserve the pensioner to support.
Exactly.
And she said the first thing, if you want to do anything about debt restructuring, is to look at what you have, and she says what you can cut.
Yeah.
And she's not seeing that.
And something, even before I talk about what you can cut, the first thing is to take responsibility for the problem. And to dismiss those who, through their actions and inactions, have driven us into this mess. You see, Kenoforiata is a very disease he's pretending to be curing. And so long as he continues in office as finance minister, we will be kidding ourselves if we think that we will get out of this problem. He must be dismissed, and the Bawumia-chaired economic management team that has supervised this mess dissolved immediately. We need competent and credible hands to manage the crisis we have currently. That should be the starting point.
Well, the president thinks the competent hand is Kenoforiata.
And that is why we are here.
So his own party people have said what he should do. He says,
okay, something, if I can just conclude on these points. You see, as we speak, last year alone, in 9 months, government spent 15 million Ghana cedis on purchasing car tires and batteries at the presidency. They spent 51 million Ghana cedis on just fuel at the presidency in 9 months. They spent a whopping 4.8 million Ghana cedis on just one cabinet retreat. And another 6.5 million Ghana cedis, equivalent to 65 billion OCDs, on the procurement of new vehicles. They have paid Kari Summers 28.2 million Ghana cedis to coordinate the building of a biblical museum and a garden in these times. And all they have to show for these millions of monies they have spent on the so-called cathedral project is a big hole sitting in the center of Accra. What am I saying? I'm saying that until government set its priorities right, stop these reckless expenditures, sack Kenoforiata and dissolve the economic management team, and approach these discussions with honesty, candor, we are not getting out of this problem today or tomorrow. And so I want to commend the Chief Justice and the pensioners they must be supported, they must be encouraged. This so-called debt exchange program must be suspended forthwith, and all well-meaning Ghanaians, whether you are directly affected or not, you must join this struggle because it will affect you one way or the other.
Okay, thank you.